Howdy everybody, it's Amy from Amy's Sparkly Diamond Painting, and I thought I'd do a quick update on one of the kits that I did an unboxing for yesterday. Yesterday I did a video of two of the bigger budget-friendly unboxing kits, and one of them was called Flower Elf by the company AB Diamond Art. It was a 45 by 65 square, and I paid $11.24 for it. Now I showed the canvas, and I'm showing it here, at least a part of it, because as you can see it looks really messy and it's hard to see what's going on in there. Now I have since put some washi tape across this because I've thought about it, and I said, you know, I see a lot of videos of unboxings of these Temu products and not too many reviews. So you look at some of these canvases and you wonder, is that going to turn out? And some of these, like this one, look really messy, and there's a good reason for that. So what I was going to cover in this video is why some of these canvases might look a little bit messy, and if you've gotten one of these and thrown it in the back of your closet because you were afraid it wasn't going to turn out and it looked really weird, you might want to pull it back out, because I'm going to talk a little bit about rendering and why canvases might look weird, and I'm going to show you two finished sections on this painting so you can get a feel for how it actually looks when you see a canvas like this with all the messy colors and numbers everywhere where you can't really tell what's going on. So I completed two sections of this. I've got it zoomed in right now so you can't see the sections I completed. I finished the bottom left corner, and then I liked how that was coming out, so I cut out the middle and went straight for the face and part of the wings, and I've completed most of that. So I'm not diamond painting tonight because my elbow and my hand is really sore after diamond painting way too much yesterday, but I wanted to see how it looked, and I was getting pretty excited as I went along, so I thought I'd share with you an early review after just one day of working on this canvas to show you what can be hiding in some of these strange looking canvases. So first we can zoom in a little bit on this canvas, and you probably saw it on the unboxing yesterday, and I will put a link to that video if you haven't seen it. But it's really hard to read what color is what on these. The symbols are actually very clear, and that's part of what's going on here and why it looks so difficult to see how the picture is going to come out. So the way rendering worked, at least in the cross-stitch world, and I came from the cross-stitch world before I got into diamond painting, there were different software companies that had software that you could take a photo or a picture of your own and convert it to a cross-stitch pattern. All the DMC colors were loaded in the software. You pick the size, you pick how many colors you wanted to do, and out would pop a pixelated rendition of that picture into a cross-stitch pattern. Now those software patterns, or that software, is still around. And I think that's what some of the diamond painting companies are using, or at least some modern equivalent to some of those, to create the canvases that we see today. Now back in the cross-stitch days, it's actually been probably 40 years since I learned to cross-stitch, the patterns would look kind of messy like this because you were sitting kind of far away from your pattern, and you had a blank Ida cloth or piece of linen, and you would stitch a few stitches on the linen, look down at the pattern, stitch some more, change colors. And so the patterns had a lot of contrast, especially in areas where colors were trying to blend together. So they would choose colors that didn't exactly match the thread, and you had to be a little careful and read the symbols because the background color wasn't necessarily the color you were stitching. It might be somewhat close, but it was a bit off. And the reason for that was to show enough contrast between the colors next to it so that you could easily stitch it by just kind of looking down at your chart and back to the cross stitch. So that's what we have going on here. So when I did the first corner, I saw that the colors were not actually the colors of the diamonds that you put on, which was cool because I had absolutely no problem reading this pattern. So should I quit showing you this blank part and jump to the first section I did? There it is. Again, this is the bottom left corner, and you won't see the total detail of the picture that the original artwork was made out of, because obviously there's no way you could fit that kind of detail in something that is 45 by 65. But still, it had 42 colors, I think. I didn't write the number of colors here. Let's see. Yes, 43 colors. So you would expect a little bit of detail, and I think you can start to see what's actually coming out of this canvas. So a lot of the weird contrasting colors actually weren't. They were blended colors. So this is coming out much more like a watercolor type look. There's a loose diamond on top of that, where you have colors kind of blending next to other colors. And when I did this first section, it's, I guess about maybe a 3 by 4.5 or 3 by 5. I didn't really measure. I just kind of eyeballed it. When I did this section, out of the 43 colors, I only had 6 that I did not use in this section. So it is heavily confetti. And for those of you, I had one comment asking, what is confetti? Well, confetti is when you have a bunch of color changes right next to each other. It's the opposite of what we call color blocking, where you have large areas of a single color. So in this case, with 37 colors in this one little section, you're switching colors a lot every few diamonds, and that is what we commonly call confetti in the diamond painting world. So some of us like confetti. We like the challenge of switching out the colors and reading all the symbols, and some don't. They like to do more color blocking, where you can kind of sit and just fill in an area without having to think too hard or switch colors a lot. So this was definitely confetti heavy. I think 4 of the different AB colors are in there. I'm not sure. You can't really, this is late at night, so the sparkle isn't coming through quite as well, although it's not too bad there. So these are flowers, kind of that watercolor look. And this, I was thinking there were butterflies on this. That's actually a little fairy. So it's got the wings and the little body here, but it's not very clear. But it's only this big. You wouldn't expect it to be able to be rendered very clear. So part of why this canvas looks so odd, and part of the reason that companies don't always go completely in numerical and alphabet order, is because some letters look like other letters. And so some are skipped for that purpose, to make a chart easier to read. So I don't know how well you can see this, but this says 1, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9. So several of the numbers were skipped because they might look like something else if they were next to them, because with all the colors kind of there next to each other, it might get confusing. So there is no 0, because that would look like an O. And I came across a Q as I was working on this, and I thought, uh-oh, is that a Q or a letter O? Well, it was a Q because there is no letter O. So you'll see with the letters the same thing. We have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, no I, J, K, L, M, N, no O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. So some of the letters that might be confused with others or numbers were left out, as well as some of the numbers. And that was on purpose so that the chart would be easier to read. You'll also see a lot of dark black, black is dark, bold black, maybe, really thick black on those symbols to make them easy to see. And again, these colors that you're seeing here may not necessarily match exactly the colors of the diamonds, because this has 43 blended colors, and it would be really hard to tell the difference if there wasn't a little bit of contrast put in there. So this is the first section. What did I think about the diamonds on this one so far? Well, they are definitely acrylic. I wasn't sure at first, and the pattern didn't say. I was expecting acrylic because less than $12. And indeed, when I shook them in the little trays, they were lighter than what I consider the resin drills to be. If you shake them and try to line them up, it's a little bit harder to line up really light acrylic drills because they turn all different directions. They don't want to straighten out as much. But that doesn't bother me for this one because you can't really multi-place. There are so many colors in such a small area that multi-placing really isn't possible. So I was happy with the drills or the diamonds. Consistent sizes, not running into any trash at all. And the spacing there is lining up pretty well. It seems to be going quite well. And rendering. Well, what we call rendering is how we turn the picture into the pixel art that becomes the diamond painting. And there's software to do that, but that would be digital rendering. And if you take one of these pictures and only do digital rendering, you sometimes get a lot of pixelation in the art. Weird colors that don't seem to match where they belong, and just odd pixels that don't make a whole lot of sense. That's how you can tell a digital rendering. It's very pixelated and random colors seem to show up in spaces. Well, I didn't find that with this one. And I noticed there were, especially like here around the ferry and everything, the colors seem to be kind of grouped as they should be without a lot of randomness. So I thought, this seems to possibly have some hand editing to it. So when you have hand rendering, that's where the artist takes the digital file and then edits it to make it cleaner, to take out some of those pixels, to clean up the edges, to make it look a little more clear. And I'm suspecting that was done on this pattern because I noticed as I was working through here, I wasn't finding that pixelation, because I have done a lot of computer rendered stuff in the cross stitch world and you can definitely tell. So I was happy about that. So I thought, well, let's go for it. Let's chop out the middle of the plastic and go straight for the face area, and let's see, is there really a flower fairy hiding in this picture? So this may be what you've waited for here to the end, if you are still sticking around after all my technical talk about renderings and stuff. Why, yes indeed, there is a fairy in there. And you'll notice that the colors all blend around her skin and around her face. There is no pixelation through here. And there was even some areas where a little bit of multi-placing could have been done. So, even though this canvas looked like a mess, and I will link the video from yesterday on there if you want to see what it looks like straight out of the box, it does come out. And there is a quite nice fairy hiding in here among all those weird colors and symbols. And I will be continuing to work on this. I wasn't really planning on doing this, but then I thought, I put this review out there and nobody can tell how this is actually going to come out. So I started with a couple squares, but now I might as well keep on going. So I did not kit this up. I just worked straight out of the bags. But I probably wasted some of my time just trying to find the right bag out of looking through 43 of them to try to find the right colors. So I will be kitting this up, and I will probably be finishing this in March because we're near the end of February and I have to do my month in review here soon with what I've already completed for February. And my month in review will also include my WIPs, my works in progress that I worked on so far this month, some of my older ones that I did a little work on, and some of my newer ones that I started this month. So if you have one of these weird canvases from budget companies that you think, oh, that doesn't look right, I don't think this is going to turn out, and you put it in your closet in the bottom of the pile, you might go ahead and pull it out and take a closer look at it, because it might not be as bad as you think. Some of this is to make the pattern easier to see from the diamond painting perspective, not from the final product. So this is a first look at the flower fairy from Temu, and I hope you got something out of this video, and I hope you have a nice day, week, whatever it is for you, and I'll talk to you next time. Thank you.